Be excellent to each other and party on. We're back for another Legacy League, and today we're playing Blue-Red Delver without the green splash. Instead of playing Questing Druid, which is the default thing that people play, we are experimenting with Predict. This is a blue card from Odyssey, 2 mana. Choose a card name, then you can mill that card, and if you named the card correctly, you get to draw 2 cards. Not bad for 1 blue, 1 colorless, and we have lots of ways of knowing the top of our deck. Dragon's Rage Channeler, Mishra's Bauble, Delver, and of course our cantrips, Brainstorm and Ponder. And we even have a Surveil land, which Delver traditionally can't play, but since we're only 2 colors, we can fit it in, which is great. The threat suite is, of course, Dragon Rage Channeler and Delver, but we also have 3 Murktides and 2 Brazen Borrowers. These are also Disruption. And speaking of Disruption, we also have the 4 Days, 4 Wasteland, 4 Force package. So we are going to disrupt our opponent and potentially burn them out with 4 Lightning Bolts, 3 Chain Lightnings, and in the sideboard, we have 2 Price of Progress, which are really good against Eldrazi specifically. And that allows us to go down to 3 consigns from the default 4 that every blue deck has to play because of Eldrazi. That's right, we're only playing 3. We're only playing 1 Hydroblast because Blood Moon is not that big of a deal when you have a ton of burn in your deck as well. In terms of Chalice, which is a very big deal against this deck, we have 2 Abrades in addition to the 2 main deck Brazen Borrowers. So we do have ways of dealing with Chalice, but it is definitely the nightmare card. We have Force Negation for combo. We have 3 Pyroblasts if we get paired against a blue deck, especially control decks, and we have 3 Grafdigger's Cage for Blue-Black Reanimator, and Oops All Spells, and other graveyard strategies. This should be a fun league. We're going to go in there. We're going to try to disrupt. We're going to try to tempo, get across the line, and have a lot of fun along the way. See you in round 1. Round 1, I had to reboot because there was like a bug with MTGO, so I'm down a little bit of time. We are on the play against a almost certain combo player. They've been playing a lot of Ruby Storm. I'm going to mull this. This is great. If they're on Ruby Storm or the Epic Gamble, we're going to want to keep all these blue cards. I think we put back the island. We don't really have any need for it. We just need to get selection. We're most likely going to be dazing stuff back to hand anyway, so the second land is not really necessary. I'm going to tap out for this DRC, and then I'm just going to have 2 points of interaction up. We'll try to get Delirious. Ride this 1 win con to victory. Also, it's worth noting that I'm kind of sick. So please don't be too harsh on me in the comments if I make punts and stuff. Like, I have a little bit of fog. I'm not on any medicine or anything like that. I just kind of tough it out. But sometimes I'll take ibuprofen or something. I'm not even on that right now. But if you see me make a play that just seems completely brain dead, know that I may not have made that play had I been like perfectly healthy. But yeah, I just got this cold. When you have kids, they track all kinds of stuff home from school. You just have to deal with it. All right, they're keeping 7. I'm going to keep this. We're going to put back the island. Delver cannot play with fear. You have to be fearless, and you just have to charge forward. Let's get our Valk. They're going to immediately know what we're on. All right, and they could be on Epic Gamble, or they could be on Ruby Storm, or they could be on something else, but they've always played combo. Like, I've never seen them not on combo. This might be on a Black Saga Storm. Black Saga Storm. We could just daze this. We get a trigger. We have a land drop to make next turn. We don't lose our force. This conceals information, which is useful. I'm going to put that in the graveyard. That may seem greedy if they're on Black Saga Storm. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the graveyard. What I'm looking for is more disruption. That is a sick looking swamp. My goodness. Very cool. All right, Borrower is fine. I'm going to go ahead and I could Brainstorm to try to get Delirium, but I don't think it's likely to work. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to chill. I mean, there's certainly a chance that they could have Bowmasters, and we may need to react accordingly. Yeah, I'm just going to hold up mana. If we Brainstorm next turn, we see more cards. If I find a fetch, I will play it out just to have access to a second land. Double black, okay. Him. Well, how do we feel about him? I feel like it's a daze. So they're on like some sort of like aggro. Like a combo deck wouldn't play a card like him, I don't think. I think I'm going to bin this. Is that greedy? They could have sinkholes. They could have wastelands. They could have lots of stuff. If they're on a... But we know our next land drop is covered. I I do think we keep this because this represents the surveil land. Yeah. Okay, so that resolves. We could go ahead and I'm just going to wait on the brainstorm because I know that our top card is a good one and I want to get the most out of these surveils. That could be wrong. I think I'm just going to go ahead and go to attack. Next turn I've got brainstorm and I can shuffle away something bad. But there's a good chance that I'll be like forcing a Baragoi for something here. We haven't made much of our pressure here, but like they're just playing swamps, so I don't think our tempo plan is going to work. I think we're going to need to overpower them with creatures. I will definitely another him. I think we do force this. And we pitch Borrower. Yeah, I just don't want to lose this card. We have a pretty stacked graveyard now. Yeah, I don't need this. It must feel good to just like jam a bunch of Hymn to Torax. Like I was sick and I was thinking about like maybe I could play a non-blue deck, but I don't actually own like all the cards that I need to play non-blue decks. This is totally fine. We can get a free shuffle here. Yeah, I'm gonna get the free shuffle here. So first we get to surveil. That goes in the graveyard. Okay. I don't think Chain Lightning is going to be spectacular here. We're barely doing any damage. I mean, Chain Lightning. So I think what we do, actually, I think we do keep the Chain Lightning because we get Delirious next turn. We can waste this, turn off their card engine. So I can put this back. I do want to get Delirious. Yeah, I'm just going to do it like this. We need both of these to get Delirious? Yeah, I'll just let them keep this. This doesn't do any damage to them or anything, but like they won't necessarily have enough life to make full use of it later. Hopefully they don't have a Fatal Push because that completely collapses my plan here. We have a stacked graveyard. We just need a second land to be able to deploy a Murktide. Of course, we have to find the Murktide, so we have to find 2 cards. But with Mishra's Bauble and with Chain Lightning, I think what I can do is I can just dig for lands and Murktide. That's definitely what I want to do here. Don't Fatal Push. Oh, the rack. Okay, sure. They're rocking it really old school. Yeah, respect. I mean, this is like Antiquity, I think was when that was first printed. It's a cool card. So we take 2, or we take 1. There's our freaking boy, our swimmer bod, man. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and just do this first. We do want to keep that because that enables us to get Murktide out, which will definitely race the rack. I'm going to go ahead and pop this, see what their top card is. Raven's Crime. Okay. So they can make us discard our Merc. Huh. They don't necessarily... Well, yeah, they could retrace and they could make us pitch our entire hand if they have more land. I haven't seen that card in a minute. Good to know about. Okay, so we're still not Delirious. I do kind of want to just Chain Lightning them here. And then we draw and we discard the land and we hold the Merc. And then maybe we draw another land. We have binned a lot of lands here. I just want to race them. They're drawing that. They're not drawing other action. I am going to keep it on the top. Let's go for a hug. We are winning the race by a country mile here. Somebody said that in the comment, like X is better than X by a country mile. And so now I'm saying it too. I'm not sure exactly what it means. I think a country mile maybe feels longer than a regular mile. So, okay, Urza Saga, noteworthy. Notably, can go get the rack. Okay, here's the Raven's Crime. And I do think we discard the Strand here. Because they're not going after our mana. And I think if they were going to go after our mana, they would have gone after it by now. Do they want to discard another card? Please don't kill my DRC. Oh no. We just lost. The game's over. There's like no way we're coming back from this. I will never financially recover from this. Like literally everything is gone. And now we're just sitting there getting racked. Getting ripped in half from the crotch up. Not pleasant. Okay, so I'm trying to think of what we could draw here. We could draw like a series of like lands that oh, we drew a land. That's good. I do think we play it out. But I mean, they're going to be able to create constructs and hit us. What does victory look like for us? Ripping another DRC? Yeah, I didn't expect them to be on Pox. I thought like I just haven't seen it in a long time. So we're going to take 3 from the rack, and then we're going to take 6 the following turn. I think we're probably dead. They still have mana to cast stuff. Oh, yeah, we're going to concede. We're not going to beat that. because Liliana can make us discard cards and stuff. Okay, so what do we have against this? Force Negation comes in. A Braid comes in. A Braid can't deal with Liliana though, but it can deal with the rack. It can deal with some of the stuff in their deck. Consign can stop some triggers. I'm not sure that it's good. Days were good because I think we take out the bolts. I mean, Bolt can't deal with Liliana. Maybe we don't take it out. Predict is a way to like get up on cards. I feel like Days is important. Yeah, I have no idea. This wasn't on my bingo card for decks we'd likely face in this league. I mean, you could argue that Predict is going to be the most mana intensive card. Everything else is a 1-drop. With so many 1-drops in their deck, I seriously doubt they're playing Chalice. They could just board into Chalice though and take out like their, Thoughtseizes and their Raven's Crimes and stuff. Maybe playing a Braid is playing Scared. This can deal any artifact though. It can deal with Construct Token as well, which we may have to deal with. Maybe I take out some of the bolts because Chain Lightning still gets us Delirious. Yeah, I think I'm going to take out some of the bolts. I don't know. Maybe it's a mistake not to just fully tempo and then we can bring this in on the draw. Maybe that we don't want to bring this in either. I think I'm just going to go back to the original configuration of my deck. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to board anything. We're going to try to run them into the ground really quick. Let's do it. I mean, the rack is 3 damage a turn, but as long as, like, the reason we lost there was Smallpox. I think we keep all the cards we can. This has mana, has Wasteland, which does disrupt their lands. We can double bobble before they have the ability to get a thing out. Fill up our graveyard. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just bobble, ponder. Maybe a ponder first, and if I find a Delver, I could hold it, but maybe I don't even want to do that. I have no idea whether this is supposed to be a favorable matchup for us. What I do know is the fact that we're spending 1 mana for each of our creatures is good, because if they like Smallpox or if they like Chainer's Edict or whatever it is they're using to kill our creatures, I'll just open basic here. I mean, these are exceptional. So if we get DRC out next turn, so we can put Brainstorm on the bottom. I want to use both of these baubles with DRC out so I can just get stuff into the yard. Fill up our yard for a Murk. I don't want either of these cards to get ripped out of our hand. I think it's less likely that they have like Dark Ritual into... Yeah, I think I want to put the Valk in hand. We're just going to chill. And next turn we're going to drop Darcy and we're going to double Bobble. Which reminds me of Bubble Bobble, which is a great game from the NES era. Swamp. Okay, they're just passing. That's great. They're stopping in our draw. Okay, never mind. Okay. So we're going to go ahead and just... Boom. DRC's loose. I'm going to go ahead and put that Brainstorm in the pile. We're practically to Delirium. Cards we're looking for, more creatures. Specifically more Darcy. I think she's the best creature on our deck by far. By a country mile. Okay, so that's going in the yard. Let's take a look at their top card first. And I do want to crack both of these before their turn because I don't want them to... Okay, they're drawing Urborg. Let's go ahead and play this one out too. We'd love to get a creature into our yard. Wasteland is not where we want to be. And again, I'm doing this aggressively around Bowmasters because Bowmasters can... Oh, what? She's already Delirious? That's great news. I didn't realize she'd already be Delirious. Okay, so we'll just bobble ourselves here. And that's another card that I think we put in the yard. We do have 2 lands. Okay, we can't put it in the yard. I was just looking at it. I wasn't surveilling. Okay, and then we have Brainstorm if we need to rearrange some stuff. If they like him us, what we can do is Brainstorm and then just hold on to the worst cards. We might be able, like if they... Okay, so we're drawing a land here and we're drawing Wild. I just need to stop Smallpox. That's like the enemy number 1. If they him, I will Brainstorm first and then I'll just hold a bunch of lands in my hand because I've got so much land. Okay, they're going to waste us here, which doesn't really matter. If they like Raven's Crime or something, that's okay too. They've tapped out of Bowmaster mana, but they could be like Dark Ritualing into the scary card. Liliana of the Veil. It's definitely the most powerful card in their deck. Thoughtseize. I'm going to brainstorm here. I'll just bin that. Like, we really do have way too many lands here. And, okay. So I can't make them whiff on Thoughtseize. That Murktide is pretty delicious, though, next turn. It's not going to be that big. I don't ever want to draw this Wasteland. I think maybe I hide the Murktide on top. And then they'll take one of these other spells. And then we can fetch it away and we can Murktide next turn. And we will be able to do that even if they waste us. They're going to see all these lands. They're going to realize how futile wasting us is. I'll probably take the Force. Maybe the Borrower. If they take Ponder, that's okay too. Borrower is the one I don't want them to take because I want to be able to make Murktide as large as possible. It's worth noting that if they have Surgical Extraction, they could extract my Ponder, which would cause me to lose Delirium, which would be unfortunate. They were playing at main deck, so I presume it's also in postboard. Okay, they did take Ponder. So Force is squarely aimed at Liliana and Smallpox. I think those are the main things. I don't think we necessarily protect this. I'd like to. Okay, so I think what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to get I'm going to attack first. Just to get the 3 damage. That way I can go out Delirium with instants. Because I can just put another instant into the yard when I force something. I'm going to get the Surveil land here. Just maximize the number of instants and sorceries I can put in the yard. I mean, she's so good. If I put her in the yard, though, she helps the other one stay delirious. So we can keep her delirious while eating all the instants and sorceries. We can eat all the instants and one of the sorceries. I think that's what I'll do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this does make her. Oh wait, she's still delirious? That's great. Yeah, I guess I didn't think about that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm still getting the hang for the deck. Like, I know I've played Delver maybe like 5 or 6 times on the channel, but it is a high skill deck. Okay, there's the Urborg we knew about. Dark Rit. Him. I actually think we let this resolve. There's a decent chance they have a Liliana after this. Yeah, we keep our Force. We would have, because we don't need that land at all. Like, them wasting is not a big deal at this point. This is Liliana. Smallpox. Okay. So I'm going to ditch the ZRC, sadly. And I'll ditch the basic island. I think there's a high likelihood that they have a removal spell for this Murktide. And we're not going to be able to make it all the way, but we have to try. They can also waste us off one of these lands. They could actually waste us off all our lands if they want to, but I think it's fine to just keep that up. So they've made their land drop already. So we are going to get 1 crack with this. That's a good draw. I'm going to come in for a hug. And I'm going to deploy our second land here. I'm not going to let it hang out in my hand where it can be wasted away or hemmed away. If they have Liliana, like Dark Rid into Liliana, that's game. Probably. They have another Smallpox, that's also probably game. They're at 8. So we can hit them and potentially kill them with a bolt. Well, we drew a bolt. I don't see any reason to do it before we swing. Let's swing first. All right. Hasta lasagna, don't get in the anya. That's my favorite Emilio Estevez quote from the original Mission Impossible movie in the 90s. All right, game 3. All right, so game 3, like a Braid would have been bad there. We actively needed the bolt to get us out of that situation. I do think Daisy is bad. It's not great. Bouncing cards to hand. I don't really want to be going down on cards with Force Negation, though, is the thing. I mean, I hate to say it, but I think Daisy is probably better because it still allows us to tap out. It allows us to potentially to protect our land. Like, let's say they, Dark Ritual into Smallpox and we only have 1 land. We can bounce it to our hand and protect it. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to board. All right, this is a double predict hand, which could be extremely clunky. However, we do have DRC, which basically always lets us know what our top card is when we resolve a predict. Thoughtseize? See what they take. They should take the DRC for sure. Yep, they agree. I almost feel like being on the draw is favorable and is like more advantageous in this matchup just because cards are so important. Like they're essentially like 1-for-1ing you. Yeah, that's fine. They just 2-for-1 themselves. I think this is a bad play. They've reduced the total number of threats in our deck, but they didn't do anything of consequence to our hand. Now they're down to 4 cards. They also shocked themselves in doing that, and we are a direct damage deck. Like, I think this would absolutely be something you'd board out here. But again, I haven't played Pox. Not in many years. I used to play it all the time. I actually had like back in black-white Pox. I had like the Vindicates, and I had like the Sinkholes and the like 4 Scrublands and the Mox Diamonds. Of course, I sold those, not realizing how the reserve list worked and that I would probably never see them again without a significant investment. I think we just island Delver and we start getting our Delvers out there. If they Thoughtseize or if they Sinkhole, that's bad for us. But we do have some lands. Factory. Time has not been kind to this card. It is an old school staple though. If you play old school 93, 94, it's one of the best cards in the entire format. All right, let's see if we can flip. Can I get a flip? Yes. Ha ha ha. I shall taunt you again. So, do we bother wasting the Wasteland deck? My instinct is we don't. Maybe we just go ahead and we ponder and try to set up another Delver. I'm going to swing. I'm going to go get a Volk. Let's go ahead and ponder. Okay, this is great. We may want this land, but we definitely want to... Maybe we take the land now and we stack it to where the Chain Lightning is on top. I mean, the Brainstorm is probably the best card. But we do have Predict next turn. If we want during our upkeep, we could just mill one of these cards. Maybe Chain Lightning's not that important. Milling it does help us get Delirium. Well, Delirium doesn't matter anymore since they got rid of our threats. So I think I'm going to go ahead and put Brainstorm on top. I'll take the Tarn. So this will flip. And then we can predict it away, or we can predict the Chain Lightning away. I feel like Chain Lightning is the weakest card because these are recurring damage sources. If they have Bowmasters, though, it is going to be really brutal. I can't imagine them playing a mono black Pox deck without Bowmaster. It seems like a total shoe-in. If they Thoughtseize, that's totally fine. If they want to like reduce their life total. Duress, sure. And I do think we probably predict away the Chain Lightning after we flip the Brainstorm. We'll be hitting for 6, assuming that they don't have like land, Dark Ritual, Smallpox. We'll just be hitting for 3 otherwise. Wasteland. Wasteland does stop us from being able to predict here. But we know the next card. So we can just go land. Yeah. So I'm just going to flip. And then I'll go to my main phase. Draw the Brainstorm. Now I'm just going to predict away the Chain Lightning. Go ahead and attack with both of these first, just in case I need to do some emergency Brainstorm stuff. Delver. Still getting it done in 2025. Feels great. This card. Pitches the Force. Comes out turn 1. It is no DRC. DRC is definitely a better card, but it's still quite good. I'm just going to name Chain Lightning here. All right, we drew 2 Baubles, which we can immediately play. There is certainly a risk that they could have Bowmasters, but we're going to... Oh, Lily. That's a good card. But do they have mana for her? I guess I just bobble myself since I already know what's on top of their deck. We're going to get Misty Rainforest. That's not the greatest. If they minus, we can kill their Lily. We get 2 cards. Don't seem to have a Bowmaster. Lightning Bolt's great. Can finish off a Lily. If they do any damage to themselves, we can finish them off. Next turn, we can surveil and we can waste one of their lands. Yep, they scoop. We got it. Let's go to round 2. Round 2, we're up against an unknown opponent on the draw with an incredible hand. This is just like phenomenal. Look at this. We can do everything like immediately, basically. We have Force. We also have Daze. If they're a combo deck, like I wouldn't want to be a combo deck against this hand, for sure. I'm just going to Volk DRC. Be as aggro as possible. We'll see what they do. They may have Fatal Push, which I can Daze. This is an extremely aggro draw here, where we can potentially get Delirium pretty quickly, do a lot of damage to them. If we want, we can Ponder and keep just the best cards. There's a waste. Tomio. This is fine. I've got lots of answers for her. I can just Chain Lightning her out of the way. All right. I wouldn't mind drawing another land here, but I don't want it to be a Wasteland. Huh. Well, it's a Wasteland. I mean, the problem is they could just have another freaking wasteland, and that would really suck for us. So the conservative thing to do is just to ponder here, but that does give them an opportunity to flip. I'm going to be fearless. I've got this bolt that can help line up the next land. We're going to go here. I don't want that. Okay, and now we can just bounce this Valk out of play. Wow, that's aggressive, forcing to protect Tamiyo. Predict. That's a higher cast card. Let's just put it in our graveyard. Got rid of her. Coming in for a hug. We are not vulnerable to Wasteland now because we can potentially ponder. A lot of this will depend on whether they present something that we need to force here. Like a Delver or I would definitely force a Bowmaster. I suspect they're on just like blue-black tempo, but they could be on Reanimator. Netherglyph. Okay, so they're on blue-black tempo. I think we just ignore this. They can bring it back soon anyway. We do have the faster clock. We just need to get... Let's see. Oh, Murktide. I think I'm going to ponder here and try... Like if I can flip like a Delver or something into the yard, that's really good for us. But we will need to find a blue card if we want to be able to... Let's go. I want to put a blue card in my hand for sure. Sadly, this is a keep because we don't want them to waste us out of the game. Okay. This is pretty bad actually because we don't have a path to Delirium. We do have a path to a big Murktide. My instinct is to keep the Chain Lightning on top. I mean, we can force pitch Murktide if they Bowmaster. I think it's probably what we need to do. So I'm going to Island on the bottom. Chain Lightning on top. We will draw it. Just put the Misty in hand, I guess. We can't attack, so we're going to take 3. It's not that big of a deal. Like, with all the burn we have coming up, I think we'll be okay. There are 2 cards in hand. They really used a lot of resources to protect that force. I didn't even check what they pitched. They pitched a Spell Pierce. So it's not my build. Thoughtseize is fine. I'm going to let this happen. It does buff their Goyf. They'll probably take the Merc. So we can bolt next turn, even if they take the Merc. And then we can dodge that island on top without having to fetch. They took the bolt? Interesting. I would not have imagined them taking a bolt there. Second Tamiyo. Okay, so they don't know that we have another Chain Lightning, but we'll just point the Chain Lightning at this. Then we'll just hit for 1. So they are winning the race right now. I'm going to play this land out just in case they have a daze. This is exciting. Tempo on tempo action. We are definitely like unfavored here, in my opinion. I think the blue-black version is much better for like the long game. We had the ability to surveil, which I think we should take. But I don't want to get I don't want to get a force daze. They can bring this back if we kill it. So we are going to need to figure out a way to race. I think Murktide will do it though. Murktide will be huge. I'm going to go ahead and surveil here. If they have like a fatal push or something, that's unfortunate. If we can get a creature into the yard, that'll be phenomenal. That is going to go straight into the yard. Boom. Delirium. Okay, and a Delver too. I can hold the Delver to protect Murktide. I think that's the play. So I'm just going to play my land. I'm going to attack. Post-combat, I will Murk. And I'll take all the instants out of my graveyard and I'll make a giant Murk. Blue. Blue. Murktide. We're going to take out Lightning Bolt. Daze. Ponder. Ponder. We got the Predict. Then just one other. So we're no longer delirious, but we'll be delirious when we force. And we will likely force here. So they don't have a good attack unless they can clear this. And we're going to force whatever they use to try to clear it. That is a force. Predict is pretty good. I'm going to keep it just as like a way to refill in case we need it. They're forcing back. All right. Well, they got our Merc out of the way. We're going to take 4. We can redeploy the Merc and he will be big enough. I think that's the play. We just ignore the Predict for now. Because they could find a way to get like an artifact in their graveyard. They could also play this out as a blocker. Huh. If we Predict... I think it's a lot safer to just play out the Murktide after combat. Because they would need us to rip a second. And a lot of these decks don't even play a second one, and I think they totally should. But that's just like my opinion, dude. Okay, so if we predict here, I mean, if we just play the Murktide and they rip removal, then we're like totally dead. We can still predict though. Yeah, I think we do it. Blue, blue. 1, 2, 3. Make sure it's big enough to kill. 4, 5. There's no reason I couldn't have just tapped the Wasteland there and kept one more card in the yard. Them getting this out does not save them. Okay, good. All right. One on the draw against, in my opinion, the superior of the tempo decks. But maybe we are favorable. Like maybe this matchup is favorable for us. It's definitely going to be favorable post-board because we're bringing in Pyroblasts. They can cut the Thoughtseize. I think that's probably it. Just bring in the Pyros, take out some Dazes. Everything else is great. Or we could take out Force, keep the Dazes in. Keep one Force in. The big cards we need to stop are like Kaito and Murktide, which we can stop. Yeah, I'm down to keep all the... Oh, and flip Tomio as well. This deals very nicely with that. Yeah, I think we run it like this and we just keep the Dazes in. The other option is we could do like a split of 2 days, 2 Force, but they do have better cards to force than we do. Like our cards, you generally don't want to force anything coming out of our deck unless you're absolutely desperate. Yeah, I think I'll just do a maybe 3 days, 2 Force. All right, so game 2, we're on the draw again. We had an exceptional hand last game. This is not a bad hand by any means. It's not great, but I don't want to mull deeper. My instinct is to just play out the island and deploy a Delver, and then we have Daze and we have double Force to stop to stop Bowmaster, which is probably the scariest card in the matchup. Yeah, I'm gonna keep this. If they open like Thoughtseize or something like that, it's not a big deal. They don't have any way of taking us off our basic island. It's not like the lands matchup where they have whatever it's called. They could have Stifle though, which would suck for sure. I would force the Stifle. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just play this out, and then I'll be ready to Daze Bowmaster and Force. But like in this matchup, you definitely want to be able to play off basic island. Bowmaster is the scariest thing they could do here. They didn't surveil. They fatal push this. I think I'm just going to let it happen. We don't have anything else going on though. It's probably basic swamp. This is fine. We can race this. Come on, give me an instant or a sorcery. Yes, bolt. All right, so we can attack. We're not doing anything over here. We're just chilling. But we have Daze Protection. We got double Force. We're winning the race. We're getting the first Kraken. And it sounded like I said Kraken, like the awesome animal of Scandinavian lore. Release the Kraken. I think it might be pronounced Kraken. Kraken sounds so much more fun to say, though. Fatal Push. This is like all we've got going on. It is our clock. I'm going to defend it. A lot of winning with Delver is just knowing when to go into Protect the Queen mode. 4 cards in hand over there. Another Goyf. Now they're winning the race, but barely. But they're... Oh, this is great. I'm going to go ahead and ponder first, just to see what I rip. I would love to rip a bolt that I can use to like take care of one of those, or a land. Yeah. These are all insane. I'm kind of tempted to just play out the DRC and swing, and then we're going to rip really good stuff. But they could definitely have like a waste in their grip. DRC is the most important spell to resolve here. I will keep the... Yeah, I'll do it like that. Okay, so... I mean, bolting one would take pressure off of us for sure. They don't have sorcery in the graveyard. They don't have a way to get it out quickly. If we go ahead and bolt here, it's kind of cowardly, but this might actually be the only way we can remove it from play. Then it'll be probably a few turns before they can put it back out. If they have a Force to protect, then we can't Daze back. We can Force back. But killing one does grow the other one. I'm just going to play this out. All right, we'll come in for a hug. Little buzzy insectile hug. Next turn, we can definitely get Delirious because we're drawing Ponder. Well, we can't necessarily definitely get Delirious. Okay, they don't have a Wasteland, which is phenomenal for us. This is the Bowmaster that I said I would deal with, and I'm going to deal with it. I think my instinct is to just fill our graveyard as fast as we can now, so that Murktide can come down and close. Do they have a Daze? They are force pitching their last card to get this Orcish Bowmaster to resolve. So we are going to lose this, and we probably will lose the game. But that is going to give Delirium to the next one that comes down the road. We're just taking 4 here. We do have a lot of bolts and stuff in our hand. Or we're drawing Brainstorm. Trying to think if there might be a situation where we do need to hold this back to just deter aggression. I'm going to start by brainstorming here. No, I'm not going to brainstorm until I've taken care of this. That would have been an embarrassing punt, wouldn't it? Let's go ahead and... so if we attack and bolt, can they race us? Yeah, I think I just want to get this off the table so I can brainstorm. So they just got a 2-for-1. That's good. That does grow these. I'm aware of that. Brainstorm. Find some more to burn. Okay, Murk is great for next turn. I think Daze is pretty terrible here. I think I'm going to shuffle both of these away. And I'll just surveil here. So we are going to survive. We're going to swing for 3. They're going to swing for 7. We'll drop to 4, but we'll play Murk. And then we should be able to alpha strike them. We'll drop to 3, actually, but they don't have burn spells in their deck like ours. The scariest thing they could do would be kill this. We are going to have an 8/8 Murk, though. It looks like they're killing this. That sucks. So now we don't have lethal pressure. I'm going to surveil here. So if we find a bolt, that would be quite good. No, we need a second blocker. Thundering Falls. Surveil trigger. That goes in the yard. All right, come on. Second blocker. Okay, that's great. So we can just go blue, blue, Murktide. Let's make it full size. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. This is not a guaranteed victory by any means, but we do have... Oh, is she delirious? She's delirious. Okay. But it doesn't really matter. She's still going to have to die. So it's just the top of their deck versus our board. If they swing in with everything, I'll just block. And then they won't have the ability to bring back. We're going to need to find a bolt or... okay, end. All right, Brazen Borrower does it. We have to hold. I'm just going to hold. We can't attack in until we find a bolt. So this time we can block, but if they have Bowmaster, we're just dead. Or if they have Brazen Borrower, we're just dead. We have to hope that they're ripping like dazes and lands and stuff. Brainstorm should find them something to deal with this. Another Bowmaster does it too. This is one of the reasons I'm reticent to play like a full tempo deck like Delver, because it feels like you are giving up a lot of agency. Like, okay, I tapped out, I put everything on the board. Do they have it? They can shuffle, so they got a perfect Brainstorm here. All right, they are coming in. Do you have the Bowmasters? Show me the Bowmasters. All right, good game. Okay, game 3. We're going to be on the play. Definitely boarding in all the dazes again. Those forces did not feel particularly great. Yeah, I think this is the way we do it. I mean, they had like a very black board presence, and the Pyroblast was never any good. One thing I will say is these are fun interactive matches, which if you know anything about Be Excellent, it's that he likes fun interactive magic, and he doesn't like ships passing in the night magic. This is great. It's not exceptional, but it's fine. We have like a potential turn 2 predict. We can open Scalding Tarn and then Surveil. We could put back the predict. I don't want to put back Chain Lightning just in case they open with Tamio. At the same time, I don't really want to put back Brainstorm, but Brainstorm is kind of a liability in this matchup. Yeah, I think I want to do that. So we can play at the bobble, and then we can predict. We can bobble ourselves, and then we can predict. If we do that, it's possible they put like a Tamio or something we have to answer on the table. Yeah, I think we'll do that. Okay, so I think what I'll do here is I can just bobble myself and decide whether to shuffle away. Yeah, and I'll just do that during their turn. And then if I decide I do want to shuffle it away, I can also get a surveil trigger. I'm giving up the ability to predict here with certainty by doing this, because we're not going to be able to have 2 mana to cast predict in time. Maybe I just do want to wait. Okay, so what I'll probably do, I will attempt to predict here. They don't have Daze mana up. Okay, so we drew a Volk. So I'm going to go land, the fetch, and I am just going to get another Volk. I don't want to get wasted off of color. Now I'm going to bobble myself. DRC, I do want that card, but it's a type for Delirium. All right, so it goes to the yard. We get 2 cards, including a Pyroblast, which could be really good later. We've got tons of land. So if they just waste me repeatedly, it's not a big deal. We do have 5 red sources in the deck, so they're not going to be able to completely waste us off red. And if they try to play a non-basic of their own, I will waste them. There's the saying that always comes up, but basically, whenever you get into a wasteland fight, like if both players are wasting one another, usually somebody's wrong. And I suspect with the volume of land that we can be in the right wasting. Also, we have a super passive hand. We want to keep this Daze turned on as long as we can. We do have 4 card types for Delirium. We also have, we don't have a ton to feed the Murktide, but I do see a Murktide victory most likely is our way to win. They're looking at 8 cards over there. They are attempting to waste us out of the game. That is fine. If they have even more wastelands, that could be a problem. Thundering Falls, I think, is fine here. This might invite them to waste again, which I'm totally fine with. Looking for creatures. Brainstorm's not a bad draw. I think putting back Chain Lightning at this point would probably be fine. Pyroblast will most likely just answer a permanent instead of a spell, since we're tapped out now. We'll see whether they get a basic here. They may not have that luxury because they wasted us twice. Here's their Nethergoyf. We do have the option of just cleanly killing it with Chain Lightning. I think I'm going to see what we can rip. I want to put this Wasteland back. I don't think it's going to be very good here. Wow. A lot of air. Put the Wasteland back. Put back one of these. Yeah. And we can just fetch stuff. I'm going to go ahead and fetch a Volk here. I'm not going to go after this. I'm just going to get Delirious first. All right. We're currently winning the race. They can't attack in this turn. I'll Daze anything they put on the stack that is Daze worthy. Fatal Push. Don't do it. Blue mana. Okay. Hydro. Can't stop it. 2-3 coming in for a hug. I think we probably do Bolt it. Okay, Delver. Oh, man. What do we do? I think we Delver and I'm going to play this land out. I'm not going to crack it. I'm so tempted to just kill this thing while we can. It feeds the graveyard, takes the heat off. Makes subsequent Nethergoyfs bigger, though. They are kind of far from escaping it. All right, and then I'm just going to play with the Delver. And then we can shuffle away if this is a bad card. Or if we need to Pyroblast something, we can do that too. Definitely don't want to have to play out a third land unless they start wasting us some more. Fatal Push is fine. I mean, I'm tempted to counter this and just get my Surveil back to hand. I don't have a lot going on here. They could be looking for land. That may be a questionable play. But it's a 1-for-1. Looking for threats. Borrower's great. Let's go ahead and see what we can find here. Got a juicy graveyard. DRC, absolutely what we were looking for. Let's pass. And that play didn't cost us anything really. Like bouncing that back to hand, we didn't have anything to do. Brainstorm. I am going to blast this. I just want to restrict their mobility. I'm not sure what they have in their hand. Maybe Force. DRC comes out. Super Delirious. We've got Murktide covered here. Blue-black. Unlicensed Hearst. That can't take us off Delirium. They can take the creatures. They can't take us off Delirium this turn, I don't think. They can take the Bauble and the Ponder. I think that actually does. No, wait. We have two. We've got a Chain Lightning in there too. So we're going to get at least one crack before it gets... Yeah, that's fine. Wait, did that work? I thought we had Chain Lightning in our yard. They took Chain Lightning and a Bobble. Okay, I thought we had a Ponder in our yard. Oh, that's a Predict. I misread it. Okay. Yeah. If we go ahead and bounce this back to hand, we make them redo stuff, and we also get a threat, but we could get it dazed. It does give us some selection so we can manipulate what we draw. I mean, this is a threat, but it is brittle to Bowmasters. I think I'm going to go for it. And leave a comment if you think this is sloppy. No, I'm not going to go for it. I'm not going to go for it. I talked myself out of it. Okay, Bolt. Let's go ahead and Bolt for Surveil equity. That goes to the grave for sure. I am going to play this out. I'll just attack for 1. Yeah, we're basically... This is going to be a really big problem. We could just bounce it back to hand now. I'm just worried that they could have a Murk. They don't currently have the mana to escape. They would need another card type in the graveyard anyway. Orcish Bowmasters. So I need to get this Delirious immediately. And I'm not sure if I can actually do that because... Let's see. So I've got creature. They can take the creatures out. If I get a... Okay, I'm going to attempt to do this. This resolves first. They should let this resolve before they activate Hearse. Wait, do I know what's on top of my deck? I surveilled away an island. No, I don't think I know what's on top of my deck. Okay, I think they made a big mistake here taking that first. Because now I get to surveil. This doesn't help us, unfortunately. I actually think we need to keep this because this combined with... it might give us enough of a clock. Yeah, so we didn't find a... I mean, we could just... I think we look for Murktide here. That's my instinct. I don't think Delver is going to be able to hang. They may have multiple Bowmasters in hand. So they are going to get to kill this. We have a lot of bad draws now. Fetch the Thin. We actually don't have any lands left in our deck to get. Yeah. There's no point in fetching here. There's the Murk. Hopefully they don't have like a Fatal Push or something. So I'm going to just make this full size. 1, 2, 3. I can't make it full size. So it's just going to be like a 5-5 or 6-6. I don't think we're winning this game. Do they have a force? They have a force. I think we've lost. I'm going to play it out. There's the Hearse. So this makes subsequent Murktides even less likely to work. Yeah, I just think like the odds of this coming out and actually going all the way are extremely low. Especially because they can tap these and they can make like a really big car in a few turns. Drawing a Murk would just be a 3-3 basically. Okay, I'm going to play the 3-3. I'm actually just preserve graveyard cards just in case I draw my third Murk. 1, 2, 3, 4. And if they daze this, like knowing if they've done the math to figure out that I don't have another land in my deck, that's fine. Yeah, I mean, this at least stands up to subsequent threat, unlike a Brazen Borrower here. So they probably don't have a good attack this turn. They are getting within like one shot with the Unlicensed Hearse range. I'm going to concede. Yeah, we're not going to win this. All right. Well, yeah, I think Blue-Black is a superior tempo deck personally, but I want to mix it up on this channel. Also, I'm certainly willing to acknowledge that I may have played that wrong. Leave comments with timestamps if you think there were things I could have done there. Maybe the keep was loose. It didn't have anything proactive, but it felt okay. I mean, we did. Was that the turn? Was that the game where we drew off Predict? Yeah. We didn't get to what we needed. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the game where we drew off Predict. All right, see you in round 3. We're 1-1. Right, round 3. We're 1-1. We're up against a likely Storm player, Harain. His hand has pressure and has basically everything we'd want from a hand. We're on the play. I think we keep this. It doesn't have a ton of disruption, but it allows us to do the Delver Bobble trick. I'm going to keep it. If they have a slower open, we're in pretty good shape here. Our opponent does also play Stifle Knot. They are one of the Stifle Knot. When Bosch and Roll got like top 8 with Stifle Knot in Europe, I think Harain was one of the people that brewed with him. It doesn't look like a Storm card. Ponder. Tamio. So they probably are not on Storm. They're probably on Stifle Knot. I don't want to get my dazed. We don't have anything to do next turn, though. I'm going to daze this. And if they daze back, it's okay. I'm going to bobble myself here. So we have a Delver on top. So we want to draw from that before we play our card. So we put this on the stack first, and then the draw trigger from Bobble resolves first. Now let's see what we flip. Wasteland. I'm not going to reveal it. Okay. I'm going to just attack and play out another Delver. I think they're likely on Stifle Knot. We do have Borrower, which is a good card against Stifle Knot. Ponder. Opponent doesn't shuffle. They're on blue-black. Thoughtseize. That's fine. So they could be on Doomsday, but I think most likely they're on blue-black tempo. I will look forward to hitting that Underground Sea and restricting their options a bit. Also, the fact that they're Thoughtseizing and doing damage to themselves, delectable. If we manage to flip both of these, it's going to be a coup. They took our Predict. Going after our card advantage. Interesting. All right. Let's see if we can flip. Oh, no, we didn't get there. Well, that's too bad. We'll just swing for 2. I'm going to waste them, though. Just restrict their options. They were pondering and stuff. They could be on a Storm deck. So they have perfect information other than the Scalding Tarn. They're brainstorming here, trying to find a land. They could be brainstorm locked. I think that Wasteland was good. Tundra, okay. That's fine. 1 down. They're low enough that 1 could get there. All right, Ponder. Love to see it. I think Daze is likely. I'm going to go ahead and... if they Daze, it's probably fine. I've got a clock here. I'll go ahead and swing first. If I find a Wasteland, I'd much rather waste them. Okay, we found the Wasteland, which is great. We don't really want the other cards, but Wasteland is so good that I think we keep the other cards. I guess I will draw through the Bobble. I stacked wrong. I shouldn't. Well, I can draw the Bobble and then I fetch, and then I don't have the other land. I think that's fine. So if they have another way to, if they can get rid of this, then we're back kind of the drawing board. Time is fine. I can just bolt her. And I think that's a good use of my bolt here. Just deny them a blocker. I want to go ahead and draw immediately. Drawing Brainstorm. I'm going to fetch to maximize the likelihood of finding a Daze. I think we can Thundering Falls here. Yeah, I'm going to Thundering Falls. I don't think they have a Daze. They haven't dazed anything yet. That is a second way to win. I think we can do better because we could probably just find Burn at this point. And I do really want to find a Daze. Okay, we found Force, which is practically as good. I'm going to let this go. I'll protect the Queen on Insectile Aberration. They did find a land under City Sewers, so they're going to take 3 for sure. They've been to Thoughtseize. They play very quickly. I'm hoping to be able to play as quickly as them sometime. I'm going to go ahead and hit this. I think that might prompt a concession. So now we can force with Daze Protection up, and we're 2 swings from them dying. They don't have a land for turn. Okay. I will play this out just in case I need it. I can deploy another Borrower if I need to, if they somehow deal with this. I think the correct thing is just to force whatever interaction they have. They will only have white or black mana for 1 turn. This is fine. They found a Strand. They're going to fetch to 1. This is a removal spell. I'm going to force it. Yeah, I am going to force it. They force back. They can't force back. All right, great. Okay, so I'm not expecting it to go that smoothly next time around, but I'm going to try. They could be on some like sort of Jeskai or Esper control. I definitely think Pyros come in, but I'm not convinced that we necessarily bring in a Braid. Obviously, if they are on Stifle Knot, a Braid is good, but we didn't see any evidence of them being on Stifle Knot. They could just be on like some sort of Esper control deck. So we'll have to get more information. But like it's tempting to go ahead and board in the consigns, and a Braid is specifically like really good against what they're doing over there. But I like the ability to like burn them out potentially. I think we got pretty lucky to get them as low as we did in terms of lands. I don't know that we'll be able to repeat that. They could be on like Stoneblade, like with the list that I was playing in my previous video with Thoughtseizes, something like that. I'm just going to assume that we're not going to be able to, like, we'll probably be color screwing them more than actually dazing their stuff. I do want to keep the forces in just in case they have some key card. Chain Lightning, we did see targets for it. I don't know. If they stabilize the game, they may stabilize at a low life total. So really our only answer, I think this is a keep. Yeah, I don't think you put back hands like this. If they are on Stifle Knot, we're almost certainly going to lose this Thundering Falls. Thoughtseize? Fine. They may take the Bauble to reduce our ability to dig if they have a Wasteland. All right, they took the Delver. What does that tell us? Doesn't tell me a lot. Let's see what this is. If this is a threat, I'll probably keep it. I think we do keep that. And I'm just going to go ahead and Bauble now. Just get it in my yard, get through. Like, I'm a big fan of just drawing through these. Okay, Prismatic Ending. Interesting that they opted to kill our... well, they didn't know that that was on top of the deck. Never mind. I was about to make a dumb observation that's not accurate. Okay, so Wasteland is fine. We've got another land. We've got Island Ponder. They could daze this. Another Bauble. I want to get this out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and do this. See what they're drawing. Get more information about their deck to inform my Ponder decision. They're drawing a Wasteland, so we need to find a land here. And they'll know. Okay, so we did find a land. We found a DRC, which is great. I don't think we need this force ever. I want to protect the DRC. I don't want it to get Thoughtseized because it is our meal ticket here. So we're just going to draw it next turn. And they're almost certainly going to waste this land and just ship it back to us. Oh, it's not going to get protected because of the draw. Yeah, it's a good thing that we're playing on MTGO because in paper, like I've forgotten my Bauble triggers multiple times. It's very embarrassing. I need to like start putting like a dice on top of my deck or something to remind me. Okay, so here we go. If they have days, it's pretty bad. I will probably force to protect. She is delirious. And we will get a surveil off of days. Can't grab basic in this place. All right, she's in. Now our forces surveil. They don't have waste, which is great for us. We do know that they have Prismatic Ending, which I am going to force here. Sadly. I think we pitch force. Force is not a great card in the matchup. This is a top. Helps us find another resource. Helps us find another land, potentially. Here's the Brainstorm. All right, do they have the days? They do. Okay, well, we lost DRC. That sucks. So we have no pressure. But they're down to one land currently. I mean, they have a land in hand that they can play out. So, yep. Okay, so I think we just ponder, try to find a land, and maybe we find a threat along the way. There's our Darcy, but I mean, these cards are fine, but I really want to land. If we get wasted, we're dead. Murk's fine. Well, we have to make it through this turn cycle without getting wasted so we can Brainstorm. I'm convinced they're just on like Esper control, like tempo control, similar to what I played at Eternal Weekend. Okay, this is fine. We could just go ahead and drop the Murk. They could have a Plow. They could have another Daze. We could also just chill for a turn and Brainstorm. If the card they have, yeah, I'm worried a little bit about... So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to go ahead and just land, and then we could end step Brainstorm, and then we have a Bolt. If they play a Bowmaster end step, I can just Brainstorm then. Okay, they didn't Bowmaster. This is their own Murk, which is not going to be as big as ours. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. It'll be bigger. I think, gosh, if we rip a Force here, it's pretty good. If we find a Brazen Borrower, that's also good. Okay, we found a Force, and I think we should use it. Put these back. They haven't really given me anything to take care of yet. So I think I just force pitching Ponder, and then next turn we resolve our own Murk. Okay, that worked. So now we can resolve our Murk. That'll be pretty big. Shuffle away the Chain Lightning, which we don't really want. So I'm going to go blue, blue, Murk. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, see, if we go up to 8, it's 2 swings to death. We can put another... Yeah, I think I'm going to go all the way in. Just present the clock. Make them have it. They have the Plow. That sucks. They probably have a Plow. They're probably playing 4. They might also have a Teferi, which is also bad news. There's the Plow. Okay. So this is an extremely unfavorable matchup. Nothing to be done. I think our top card is bad. It's a Chain Lightning. That's not going to get us where we need to go. So I'll just go ahead and shuffle it away. Looking for really any threat. How are we winning this game? I am going to waste their Underground Sea. But we're just kind of in a holding pattern now. They have the Bowmaster? No? Okay. Yeah, I feel very lucky to have won game 1. And I would not imagine we're going to win game 3. Yeah. I'm just going to pass. Yeah, there's no reason to play that. I can play it on the next turn if I draw like a Brainstorm or something. Because I actively want them to be wasting me. They haven't presented any sort of engine, but I can imagine they have a lot of removal in their hand. This might be a Prismatic Ending matchup. They're a Price of Progress matchup. I think I may actually bring in Price of Progress next game. Because doing 6 is not nothing. I haven't seen a single non-basic out of their deck, I don't think. Okay, there's a Merc. My instinct is to wait and bolt them a couple times and then make it bigger. Yeah, I'm going to do that. They could Thoughtseize this out of our hand, which would be really sad. They may have taken Thoughtseize out of their deck, though. They haven't cast it yet, have they? They did have a Thoughtseize in their deck. Okay. Well, I am going to do the play that is in front of me, which is to bolt them twice and then Merc for, like a baby Merc that will kill in like 2 turns. And this may seem really weak, but like when you're playing Delver, you just have to do this sometimes. Like the mid game and end game are not kind. Waste them off black. Probably not consequential. Let's go blue, blue, Merc. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Blue, blue. We still have 4 card types. Oh, we're down to 3 card types. It shouldn't matter. Like this is not going to get across the finish line. Like they probably have Brazen Borrower in addition to Plow. There's the Plow. Okay. So again, I'm playing it out but we're like maybe like 3% to win this or something. Maybe more. Maybe I'm being overly pessimistic. I mean, we have wasted off one of their colors. Not the card we want to draw. I'm just going to amass these in hand. No reason to play one out. I don't think there's anything in our deck. Like drawing a Predict would be bad actually because we wouldn't. Yeah, they're island cycling. So they're going to be able to go get an Underground Sea here. So they do have their, so cantrips are probably dead draws because I imagine it's a high likelihood that one of the cards in their hand is Bowmaster. It's almost certainly going to come out to ping this, but we do play this out. I'm going to play out the fetch so I can shuffle away a bad card if we reveal a bad card. But I'll be amazed if this lasts the turn cycle. They'll probably just Bowmaster now. All right, I'm going to concede. Yeah. Okay, game 3. So game 3, I do think that we plan to burn. They have a lot of removal, but like they probably don't have any life gain. Price of Progress should be good. We're going to be on the play. I haven't really... Maybe we do bring in Daze. I don't want to go down cards. Like almost their entire deck seems to be 1-for-1 interaction. 3 Dazes. I'd like to get the 4th Daze in there. Predict is bad against a Bowmaster deck. I think we could cut it. Yeah, being able to Daze Bowmaster is really good. Let's go aggro. This is an aggro hand. It's 4 lands, but I like DRC into Delver. I think the conventional wisdom is you play the Delver first because it can potentially hit for 3 turn 1, whereas the DRC will never hit for 3 turn 1. Also, I'd much rather have Delver get Prismatic Ending than DRC. So I'll hold my fetches for later. But if they're wasting any time or resources, wastelanding us is great for us because we've got more than enough lands here. Next turn, I can DRC and Ponder and fetch. So if they kill this, then, well, they'll probably exile it rather than killing it in the traditional sense. They may just be waiting to get information about what we're going to draw before they plow it. Come on, let's show something good. I'm not going to reveal that. That's unfortunate. I did not want another land here. We don't have a Brainstorm to put cards back. I'm going to go ahead and come in for 1 first. Conceal information. So I do have the option of putting Wasteland out, and that keeps them from surveilling. I don't think that's correct, though. I'm going to go ahead and hold our fetches for later, and we're just going to go ahead and DRC here, and then I'm going to Ponder around Bowmaster. I like to get these cards out of the way, for sure. If we find that card is Graveyard Fodder. Okay, Double Bobble is great. I don't want to draw through this. See, if I bobble, oh, you know what I can do is I can make a sandwich, and then I can just bobble or get this Missy out of the way. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. And you could argue, oh, shouldn't you just shuffle that? But we are getting closer to Delirium here. In fact, we're actually 2 Delirium now. And I am going to crack this bobble now. And I'll look at their top card. They'll probably just shuffle it away. Hydroblast. Okay, that's a good one to know about. That sucks for us. Maybe they shuffle it away. Please shuffle it away. They didn't shuffle it away. Okay, so we're going to lose DRC, unfortunately. Okay, they did fetch a basic here. They may be able to get rid of both of these. Because they have Hydroblast and they probably have Prismatic Ending too. Yep, that's fine. Yep, that's fine. We're like very threat light here. And our Wasteland doesn't do anything. It's a bad place. They don't have their colors yet though. I'm just going to do myself because I want to shuffle away bad cards. That is a keep for sure. So now, doesn't matter. I'll just play out the land anyway. But I want to keep that on top. Like basically any threat, like this is Delirious coming out, but they have as many answers as we have threats. So like white decks are always favored against DRC. It doesn't matter the type of white deck. You want to be playing those types of decks against Delver, in my humble opinion. Okay, we could have surveilled there and it probably should have. Okay, yeah, I definitely feel like we should have surveilled there. I'm going to play out the Wasteland. I'd be stunned if they have a third land, and I don't want them to get any surveil equity here. Like, they can get the surveil, but we're going to waste it before they can use it. Brainstorm's fine. There's the plow. I'm going to attempt a daze. And this may seem like, why are you doing this? But, like, this forces them to fetch a non-basic that we can then waste. This also gives us the ability to bin some bad cards. I'm going to bin that. I think I will actually daze a second time, too, here. I'll be stunned if they have a basic swamp. They have a basic swamp. What a beating. What an absolute beating. They're paying. Now I'm going to use my other days. I'll just tap like this. Put another card in the graveyard. Oh, this is one we want to keep, I think. If they have a Ponder, that'll suck. Or I'm sorry, if they have Bowmasters, that'll suck. Okay. So we fought off their removal spell, but they've probably got at least 5 more in their deck. 1 mana answers to our threats. Okay. And then I'm gonna keep this card on top, and then I can surveil later. I think we go to combat first, and then we can ponder. And they may have Bowmaster here. Yeah, they just have another plow. It sucks, but like that's what their deck does. And if you want to watch me play a whole bunch of decks like the one that Harain's playing here, I've got tons of videos on my channel. Here is the Bowmasters, Bloodbath, absolute misery here, being Delver against the white deck. Let's see what we can do here. I mean, these cards aren't bad. We could just jam borrower after borrower. But Brainstorm's bad. Yeah, they ping us. We've got a high life total, but that will change pretty quickly here. We go ahead and play out the land they know about. And we have borrower up. It's quite likely they don't... I think I'm going to wait a turn. This is... I'm going to concede. We can't beat this. Yeah, good game. They're playing like probably like Kaito Control. Esper Kaito Control. Because I think Kaito is a really good fit for Baleful Strix type decks. But their deck is basically custom built to be able to just shred Delver. And that is one of the things that when you play white, you get that advantage of like, okay, Delver's kind of almost like a buy. Sometimes you get lucky. Like I've beaten Jeskai Control with Delver. It's very unlikely that it happens. But there are no 100-0 matchups for the most part. Like you always have like a small chance that you're going to, like in game 1, we had like a really great hand. And I think that's why we were able to win that game. I don't think it was necessarily skill delta or anything like that. Harain's a great player. And I may have missed some opportunities to close that game. But I think that, yeah, like you have basically like 8 threats in your deck and then you got the Mercs. And when they have 4 Bowmasters, 3 Prismatic Endings, and 4 Plows, none of those are going to get through. Okay, we're up against the European champion himself, Larson. He could be on anything. Likely on Reanimator with Gristlebrand Touch. Flex slots are Tainted Indulgence. I'm not impressed with that card. 2 Fatal Push is the only removal. 4 Animate Dead. 4 Reanimate. So this is a very balls to the wall combo version of the deck. Wait, where are the Reanimates? Yeah, there they are. Okay, cool. So this hand is pretty decent against that. We don't have like an early threat, but we can surveil. We can potentially. I don't like bouncing stuff out of play. I mean, they could have changed decks. This feels like an okay hand. If you're a Delver, an experienced Delver player, and you think that like you shouldn't keep hands like this, let me know. But I think in the blind against an unknown opponent, let's keep. This is one of those hands where we could potentially just get a surveil land as our opener. Yeah, and I definitely feel comfortable just dazing if they go for an Entomb here. Entomb's like the critical card you have to stop. Yep, there it is. I'm going to go get an island. No, I'll get a Valk because I already have island. This is going to give some information about our deck. We could go ahead and Thundering Falls, but it's possible they could daze back, so I'm going to get the Valk and be disciplined. And if they force to protect, we've got our own force. They are forcing to protect. So here I think it is very much a force. Do we pitch Borrower? Borrower is a threat. I think I'm going to pitch Borrower because, see, they don't really have any mid-rangey stuff. There's nothing to bounce. Well, Troll. Troll can be bounced. Yeah, I'm going to pitch Daze. If they have a backup strat of just going and getting Troll going, then we'll be able to deal with that. Okay, so the card that they pitched to force was a Murktide. So they are playing a more mid-rangey version. More mid-rangey. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the only like non. Okay, there we go. Wasteland. So we can just open Island here. Our own Murk. It's possible they don't tap this Wasteland. If they do tap it, I want to surveil. I think playing just the island out face up tells them, first of all, that we're going to be able to get to 2 mana. If they had Daze, they wouldn't have been able to use it there, so they could very well still have Daze in their deck. Okay, another land. So Mana Denial is not going to work here. We could just bait the... I mean, we have 2 more lands. I think we could just bait them wasting us, and it's not the end of the world. Get a Surveil. But if they have another Wasteland, we island, and then next turn we Valk. And then we can play around Daze. I think that's better. I think getting a Surveil land would be greedy. Okay, DRC is good. I'm going to play this out. I'm going to fetch, get my Underground Sea, and then I'm going to cast DRC. And we are like basically opening ourselves up to the more degenerate stuff they can do here. They could also have Bowmasters, which would suck. They're forcing this. That's great for us. Okay, Daze. Okay, so they did have the Daze. And I suspect they're going to waste us here. But they know that we have another Valk in hand because of the way we played. So they know not to waste. They can waste if they have nothing else to do. Reanimating our DRC, that works out great for us because we can just borrow it back to hand and then replay it. They are going to waste. So if Daze is their last card in hand, they blow us out. We have a Daze now. I'm going to do it. I would like my DRC back, please. Okay, we got it. That worked out great. This is tempo on tempo, but they are tempo with a combo finish. Nothing. All right, I love it. Wasteland. I'm going to play this out. We could just go for a big Murktide here. I think it's better to... I'm going to attempt to waste first. See if this baits something out. Okay, they didn't even tap. That's very honest of them. I'm just going to play this out. Now we have Daze to cover their plays. I did not expect to be in a favorable position versus them, a player of their caliber, playing arguably the best deck in the format, but I'll take it. All right, so now I think we can start with a Chain Lightning. I'm going to go ahead and play this out because I can potentially follow this up with a Murk if I want to. I just want to get Delirious. That gets us Delirious. And now I don't even know that I need to play the Murk. All right, let's swing. We have not used our Surveil trigger yet. I think prefer to do that and just play this around Daze. We can be more deliberate. They're drawing 1 card a turn. They have 1 mana represented. We have Daze. Okay, I'm going to Surveil. Thundering Falls. Surveil lands are so good. Valk, don't want it. It's like drawing a card. Force, great rip. Now we have double protection up. I'm almost kind of like tempted to just play this out instead of playing the Murk out, because if we play the Murk out, we will necessarily get off Delirium. Let's see, 1, 2. It'll be a 5/5. It basically guarantees they're dead next turn. Let's see, 5. Yeah, 8. It does. So I'll do this. I'm trying to think. It might make sense to just tap like this. That way they can't take us off days. This will tell them that we have a daze. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Get those fetches out of our graveyard that we don't want to get back if they somehow have endurance in their blue-black deck. I don't know. It's just like a habit. Get rid of the fetches first in case they have like Loaming Shaman or, endurance or whatever card. Their thought seizing just for information. I think we just give it to them. Yep, they can scoop. All right. Got game 1. We've been getting, I think, all the game 1s. But the tricky part is getting the games 2 and games 3. So Grafdigger's Cage comes in for sure. Really good. I think the fact that we saw a Murktide, it might be coming out. But if that's part of their fair plan, then we definitely want Pyroblast for that. I don't think a Braid helps. In this matchup, I'm definitely tempted to take out the Forces. Force was pretty instrumental in stopping them from being able to do what they did. This is one of those matchups where they're going to be wasting us a lot, and Predict may not be very good. Predict is definitely better in mid-rangey matches where you do need to refill. I don't think we really need to refill here. I think this is more... We are dropping really low on blue cards, though, for Force. We could just cut the Forces completely. I don't think we cut the Dazes. Well, on the draw, I think I'll just split the Daze and the Force. Because, often they just have Troll and they, get up to 4 lands and all their spells are cheap. Daze isn't going to accomplish a lot. Maybe we just take out all the Dazes. But then I'm kind of thinking we bring the Predicts back in so we can get up on cards. But if they're playing Bowmaster, let's take a look at the list they have here. 0 Bowmasters. Just not on Bowmasters. Oh, wait, 2 Bowmasters on the side. I think it's probably okay, but yeah. Leave a comment with a timestamp if you have suggestions. I think actually Chain Lightning comes out. They don't have that many cards to kill. We can't kill their big creatures. Well, Douthie might come in. Yeah, Douthie will almost certainly come in. So Chain Lightning does deal with that. It does deal with Bowmaster, but not favorably. My instinct is to take out the Chain Lightnings. But they do turn on Delirium. Maybe we keep 1. Keep a couple days. Just split the difference. Just have a smorgasbord of everything post-board. Game 3, I probably will take out the Forces. Especially if they see our Grafdigger's Cage, which we have luckily in our opening hand, which is phenomenal. Let's keep. That was a snap keep. I think turn 1, we probably DRC into Bobble. I actually think we probably just go ahead and put the Cage out and force them to deal with it. They're fetching now. Okay. I think they could absolutely just have Daze, but they don't have... they're not going to be able to both Entomb and Reanimate next turn. So I think it's fine to go ahead and do the DRC first. They're probably going to... Oh, they're going to Troll Cycle and then Reanimate. So I do need to go ahead and Cage. Yeah, I'm going to Cage. They can still Troll Cycle and Reanimate next turn. Oh, okay, good. They didn't deal with it. That's great. So we shut off probably 8 cards. Yeah, and I was correct. They were Troll Cycling. So I'm glad I stopped to think for a minute. It's they can't... With Island, they can't Entomb Reanimate. But they don't need to Entomb. They just have this threat on deck. Swamp Cycling again. Okay. So the cards that they've revealed are Undercity Sewers and Swamp. They should be playing a land out here. They just passed to the next phase for some reason. Okay, that's fine. There's an argument for just going ahead and wasting that just to keep them restricted on resources. I think it's probably fine. If they rip a Murktide or something. Oh, wow, this is great. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with a DRC. We can always Pyroblast DRC later. I'm going to fill up our graveyard with Baubles. Bauble, trigger, Pyroblast to the yard. Let's feed the Murk. We've already got one in hand. I'm going to take a look at their next draw. It's a Ponder. Okay, I do think we can do it again. Thundering Falls, that's going to go to the yard. Got plenty of land over here. I'll just look at whatever we're going to draw. It doesn't really matter. I want to draw. I kind of am worried that we might be putting too many cards in the yard. Well, we are going to draw this now. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and waste. And we're not delirious yet, but we're close. We just need a creature or a sorcery. We get 2 cards here before they can Bowmaster us. Volk. Bolt. Okay, so I'm not worried about lands. This is fine. We might be able to kind of tempo them with the bolts and stuff. Double Bolt can answer a troll if they somehow get this out of play. I'm going to probably just proactively bolt them here, though, because I want to get Delirium. So we don't have a Surveil in our deck, so I'll go ahead and... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just proactively bolt them really aggressively. Try to get Delirium. That gives us Delirium. I'll take it. We can just go to combat and hold up the Pyroblast in the days and everything. I think that's fine. Okay, they're just passing. So there is the window to end-step bolt them just to get deeper into our deck. I think I'm going to hold, though. We've got plenty of mana. We continue to draw land. We're going to attack first. Just keep all our interaction up. I really do want to bolt them just to keep the pressure up. But holding the bolt may be an asset in terms of controlling, you know, the narrative as far as like how much time they have. This is the Entomb. That's fine. This probably just entombing like a bad card. They did Entomb Archon, so they do have Brazen Borrower for our Grafdigger's Cage. So we were going to need to blast that. So I'm glad I kept mana up. Okay, they're fetching to 9. If this resolves somehow, we're screwed. They have Thoughtseize or something. Baragoyf is irritating. Is there anything we can do here? Because this is going to gain so much life for them. I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and bolt now and just see if this elicits like a fetch of some sort. And then we can daze this. So this doesn't do what we need it to do, unfortunately. I'm going to put it in the yard. Mark can still race this thing. Yep. Maybe the answer was to go ahead and daze there just because we could have potentially gotten deeper into our deck. I am tempted to go ahead and fetch the thing here, though. Yeah, because if we find one of our many bolts, that can end the game. Let's brainstorm. Island goes to the yard. Come on, show me a bolt. We didn't find a bolt. We found another brainstorm. We have a fetch. Delver doesn't get there in time. Daze, not sure if it's any good anymore. I'll put back a land, and I'll put back Delver. Gosh. I'm going to put these back. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and fetch, shuffle. Get our last Volk. Brainstorm here. DRC number 2. I mean, we can deploy it, and then next turn they're dead? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So they're going to gain 5 life. I'm going to go freaking no guts, no glory. I'm going to bin this. Predict. So I think what we do is we just go predict Delta. Now we can predict, but we don't have a land to draw to. But I figure we might as well do this now. What was the other card we put back? Oh no. I didn't think about the fact that this would trigger this. I genuinely can't remember what the other card we put back was. This is me being sick. Okay. So I cheated and I looked at my video that I recorded, and the other card I put back was Predict. So I'll just name Predict to Predict. Okay, we did rip. That's good. Let's go ahead and play this out just to get an idea of what they're drawing. Don't want this daze. They're drawing Thoughtseize. That's fine. They can't cast that, really. I mean, they can technically. That'd be scary for them to do that. I'm just going to come in for a hug, and they're going to gain a bunch of life and probably get back something scary. And if they are able to Brazen Borrower this out of play, then we almost certainly lose because they'll be able to just reanimate. I imagine they have a reanimation effect in hand. Oh, a Brazen Borrower. That's great. So they're coming in for a hug. I think if we resolve a Murktide, though, we can definitely erase this. We can both Murktide. Okay, they found a Bowmasters. That's good. That's fine. All right. So Wasteland is great because it gives us the ability to borrow and Murktide in the same turn cycle. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in for an attack. Then I'm going to borrow, and then I'm going to Murktide. The borrow is the more important of the 2 spells to resolve. We can dodge that land we don't want. Now, we could have wasted and then dazed, actually. That would have probably been better than what we're doing here. I'm going to go ahead and Murk now And then we have, okay, so let's count. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 5 card types. 4, 5. Make a full-size Merc. I think this will probably win if they don't have a borrower. And then we can attempt to, stop what they do with the Pyroblast. I'm more concerned about borrower than I am about Barragoyf. I'm more concerned about borrower than borrower. This is maybe the first window I've given them to get a really good daze, though. So it's possible they daze here. Okay, we're putting another bad card into our graveyard. That's great. So do they have the daze? We did it. We beat Larson. All right, awesome. Yeah, the guy's my hero. I'm proud to play him, and I think we played tight. And I am glad that I looked up that predict, because we would have gotten 1 fewer cards deeper into our deck if we just named the... And it's one of those things, like, it's not an easy deck to play, and like little things like remembering what your top card is, and oh yeah, I'm going to get a trigger when I cast my predict because of my DRC and stuff like that. So we're 2-2, back for the final round in just a sec. Final round, we're up against an unknown opponent, possibly on Sneak and Show. This hand feels great. I'm going to snap keep this. Double force, pressure, disruption, love it. If they are on Sneak and Show, they're unlikely to waste our Volk, so we can proceed with confidence. All right, Ancient Tomb, they're on a Stompy deck. Lotus Petal, big swing. Show and Tell right off the bat. Well, this is going to have to be forced, and I'll attempt to pitch my Murktide here. They force back. We have another force, and they will be... Oh, great. Well, I'm just going to waste that Tomb, I think. Just minimize the chance that they have a follow-up. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And next turn, we'll get our DRC online. Okay, they did have another land. They didn't have a Ponder or anything, so they're going to rebuild a little bit more slowly, which is fine with me. Let's get our Volk. DRC, we're in our happy place now with our DRC out. This is the most powerful card. This is the card that makes Delver viable. Got both Daze and Force up. They're unlikely to have any removal, so it's just a matter of time. Thundering Falls. They've been a Flusterstorm. Brainstorm is dazeable. I'm going to daze because I get the daze equity here, and this could potentially find them more lands that they're looking for. The fact that they've been the Flusterstorm, yeah, this goes in the graveyard. So we were able to dodge a bad draw as well. They are Simian Spirit Guide paying. Okay, that's fine. It's further reducing the mana that they have access to. I would love to find another Wasteland off the top. I can't deploy the Delver because I do want to have a force up. I'll fetch Surveil here, probably. They found a Petal. Okay, that's it. All right, well, they're Brainstorm locked. That's great for us. It's coming for a tiniest of hugs. There's no way that I can Surveil and reveal. So I'm going to hold this up just in case, like, I don't think they're playing Daze, but I can Surveil and step. I, too, am a fan of Thundering Falls and able to play it, because we're 2-color. This makes Delirium, but I can get to... No, wait. This doesn't make Delirium. Yeah, I'm going to keep it. I want to be able to... this gives us extra filtering as well. And if I can find a Wasteland off this, it's so spectacular. Creature, artifact, anything that I can put in the yard, I am here for. I will put a second DRC in the yard to get this one Delirious. Delirious like in the... gosh, what is it? Is it... Oh, they're doing something. They're flustering this? Yeah, that's fine. You're going to take 3. All right. Well, they're down to 3 cards, and we've got the 3/3 beater raining down on them. We can play the Strand out. I don't think we're going to need to use it, and I would like it in case I get a look. Well, I mean, if I get a look with this, then I'll know. But if I Brainstorm, then I want to put this other Volk back. All right. Let's keep it going. This is DRC number 2. And I do think it makes an appearance here. Just in case they have Flusterstorm, I am going to play out this land. We've just significantly reduced their clock. So I'll force up. So they're going to have like a pretty good hand to be able to overpower our force. They need Enabler plus threat plus mana plus counter magic. 2 swings from death. Let's go. Brainstorm's a great rip. I'll just hold it. Actually, I'm thinking about just doing it because if I can find a Wasteland, it's really good. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Bobble goes to the yard. Predict. think also goes to the yard. I'm looking specifically for Wasteland here. All right, we didn't find Wasteland, but we found a second force. Let's put these on top. So we can only force once, but we can force 2 turns in a row if we need to, which there won't be 2 more turns in this game unless they have a way to clear these. Ponder's fine. Just waiting for them to use up their mana. It's worth noting that Ponder does turn on Fluster now because they'll have enough, but they need a lot of mana. Draws a card with Be Excellent. I love these little bugs where Be Excellent constantly shows up in the log. Okay. Here's the clinch. All right, we got it. Wow. It definitely feels like intense when you're playing it, but we don't have that much to fear here. So I think we just take out the chain lightnings. I think these are the least useful. We could even take out the bolts as well. And we just bring in Hydroblast. I do think we bring in Consign. Like almost all these decks like usually play like the One Ring or something artifacty. And we're making our deck much more red in the process. Or I'm sorry, much more blue in the process too. We have one more cut. I like Predict just because it can... I mean, we could surveil, see show and tell, and predict it away. That would be like awesome if we ever got a chance to do that. I think Murk might be the cut just because it is like we have to tap out for it, unlike the other threats. Like, I mean, yeah, technically you have to tap out to play a DRC, but you usually have more mana later in the game. But Murk, you're frequently like tapping your only 2 lands. Brazen Borrower is not great, but it can bounce Yggdrasil back to hand. So this is a hand that if they just do what they did last game and just glass cannon this show and tell into play, we're kind of screwed. But I'm going to try it. We have 2 points of interaction plus the Pyroblast, so really 3. Okay, they're fetching. Probably just pondering. Fetch basic, that's just one to them. Yeah, there's the ponder. So I'm going to wait a turn to be able to surveil, and I'm going to try to find another land. We can still go to DRC Town, but we need to be a little more careful because these spells do cost mana to cast. This is Legacy. Everything should be free. Come on. All right. Force is a great rip. Does Force give us license to DRC? They didn't shuffle, which makes me think that we may have to fight this turn. I'm going to chill. So we have like 3 points of interaction. So I don't think we're going to lose the fight over this first one. Could you just blast this? Yeah, I think I'm just going to blast this. And maybe strand them on 1 land. They're unlikely to be playing Daze. And we still have Daze if we need it. But if they're not able to deploy their lands, then suddenly Daze gets a lot better. They did have a land. What are the odds that they have other basics in their deck? Okay, so I'm kind of tempted to go ahead and play this Waste out and then to go ahead and play a DRC out. This prevents them from being able to surveil. I doubt they have a second island. So basically we're giving them this is a 1-shot land. The reason I'm playing this out aggressively is if we get into a force fight, I want to be getting value on the way through. Next turn I can just predict and draw a card, and they may fluster that. But I think drawing 2 cards gives us the potential of doing a lot here. Okay, that's not good. So I'm going to force, I think I pitch Consign, because predict does give me value later to rebuild after this fight. If they go and get do Flusterstorm, they can stop the force, but then we just Daze because they'll be tapped out. And then if they have the Simian Spirit Guide, then we have to worry about that. I think they are going to fluster here. There's a Valk, tasty Wasteland target. Okay, so we get to surveil first. That is an above average draw. Oh, what are we looking for though? We're looking for more forces. I'm actually, I'm going to Daze here. Hope they don't have the Simian Spirit Guide as one of their 2 last cards. Murktide goes to the yard. Do they have the Simian Spirit Guide? We stopped it. All right, we're near Delirium. We just need a sorcery or an artifact in the graveyard. So I think what we do here is we go ahead and waste this land, making their other land 1-shot. And then I am going to go ahead and just, I think I'm going to ponder first because this does make it delirious. And I'm glad I think that goes into our graveyard too. I really want a Daze or a Force. I'm going to any order shuffle. Oh yeah, rewarded. This is great. Bye. And now we do have land, and we have a hard counter for whatever they do next. This is just turned up perfectly, this game. Next turn, I can deploy yet another DRC and double the clock. Okay, they're getting rid of that. So if they have another show and tell, sneak attack, I'm going to force that. Get a surveil trigger. Pyroblast is way above average draw. I'm going to keep it. So we can presume they have a threat in hand, but they don't have enough mana to deploy the threat. I think what I'm going to do, safe thing is to just keep attacking, but the Delver thing to do is to double the clock because they need to get a land and another threat. I'm going to go for it. This might cause us to die, but I feel like waiting around could also cause us to die. It's giving them windows to get resources. They do have the third land. Do they have the show and tell? Oh, yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. We're just going to fly over, Magus, wave while we're flying by. Yeah, I'll play that out just in case they have like a Flusterstorm or something. Come in for a quick hug. Pyroblast is perfect here as our final piece of interaction. I don't think you bring this in, frankly. I think this is not the right matchup to bring this in. They concede. That was very resolute victory here. So we did get the positive record. Let's take a look at the deck again. Feels amazing. Like, I don't miss having the third color. Yeah, everything felt great. Like, the Chain Lightning is probably the weakest card. Like, we might be able to go down to 2 Chain Lightning. I don't think 3 is necessary, but I don't know what to bring in. Somebody was saying, why not bring a Tamio in? Well, the problem with bringing Tamio in is she reduces our creature count, or she increases our creature count. Currently, we have 25 spells to flip Delver, which is great. And we want to be able to flip those. And Delver does flip like 40% of the time versus like 37.5 or something if we add another spell, and that is consequential. So I wouldn't be willing to add another creature. Also, I think we have, unless we're up against like a plow deck, which frankly we're not going to win anyway. We have enough creatures. But of course, yes, if they have like Plow and Prismatic Ending and Orcish Bowmasters in their deck like Harain did, that is a predictable way to lose, frankly. But yeah, the deck feels great. I think double Abrade, we didn't actually encounter a single Chalice, but I do think Abrade is really good. It's good against Death and Taxes as well because it can go after Vile. So yeah, I don't really have any more comments on the deck. It felt great. I'm starting to get better, but I probably made play errors. So if I didn't catch any of the errors I made, please help me and help everybody else watching by leaving a comment with the timestamp. It's super duper helpful. Hope you have a fantastic day. And until next time, be excellent to each other and party on.